Did you draw a meme? That's nice. I didn't want to read it out loud just because of Jason was like really unhinged. Ma'am. These. I think this is the one. Yes, this is the one. So I did a thing. Since the last time that I did a art class, it was a little bit like all over the place. I decided to make a specific like Milanote being something that I use all the time, and so you can I have a lot of things there. That's why I gave the like you can just join, grab the link, and you'll see it. Also, see, like, if you do need to run, like, drop the rate and run, you're more than welcome to. Please take care of yourself. If you want to stay for the art class theory, we're gonna start. I drew my little brother saying a quote, and you would say, he's good doggy. He's a good doggy unlike me. Nah, you're a good doggy too. You're Canadian. You have to be good, right? You're Canadian-ish. Your character is Canadian. I remember that. So yes, we're gonna start by talking about colors. Crazy color theory. We're talking about color. We're gonna talk about the main colors. Now, of course, funny enough, there is different colors in that we see. We have the colors we see in real life, the digital colors, and TV colors. They all are specifically different because they use different things and different length and all that stuff. So for me, I will focus mainly by the RYB because this is what I use. RGB and RYB, same, but different. RGB is mostly electronic. So like your TV has a red, a green, and blue. And that's why it makes like that. But it's a little different now. CMYK is usually for prints, by the way. So if you ever wonder, like, when you're looking at a thing, you're like, why do I have like the the RYB and the CMYK and then all that stuff? It's because this is for printing. It creates a better print. And this is for TV, usually. And this is like, the base main color. So yes. So in color theory, the reason you want to learn about how the color works together, I can stick around maybe a little bit, but then I'm gonna better skip class, go to work. You go to work if you need to. I will be posting this section of the stream on YouTube. So if you missed it, the VOD will be up. So no worry. So we're gonna talk about obviously the primary color. Everyone saw a wheel, right? Everyone knows the wheel of color here. Everyone knows that one, right? As you RGB light, I see what's here reflecting that. Yes. So we all know that wheel. We see it. If something is cyan, that means it absorbed red. Oh, you mean about the light? Yeah. It's all about like how I'm not gonna talk about like the physical aspect of how your eyes see, because some people will have different you see a different, and no one see the same red, no one see the same blue, and no one see the same yellow. The spoiler alert, everyone see colors differently because we all have a different vision, so none of it is exactly similar. So for me, the same way as your screen is never the same color on each screen, what you see is what you see. So you have to adapt also for that. So I'm not going to talk about like, sorry about that. I just ate. Ponder the wheel that this is a wheel. I'm going to talk mainly about the main component of art. And I'm going to talk also about why it's important to understand like those terms, because sometimes you're gonna, and how you apply and what they means, And some people are colorblind, which is a whole other can of worms. Yes, that is true. And that's why, like, I'm not gonna, like, specifically say, because those that are colorblind usually have their way around, especially if they're doing art. And honestly, they can adjust their color blindness using the color they see to make beautiful art. It doesn't matter. You don't need, spoiler alert, you don't need all the color of the rainbow to make beautiful art. Of course, like, it depends on what you like, but art is, you know, subjective to the own person, so yes. So we're going to talk about the primary color first, which is obviously red, blue, and yellow. I think everyone knows the primary colors. Everyone knows what red and yellow together makes, right? Right? What does red and yellow make? I'm pretty sure Fox is a knowledgeable man, so you know. Because I think everyone knows about red and blue together, what they make, what blue and yellow makes, and what red and yellow makes. If you have technically a paint of red, a paint of blue, a paint of yellow, you can make all the rainbows. And I'm talking about the rainbow, not white or black, because that is completely different. You cannot make white paint with, you know, red, blue, and yellow. You can make the rainbow color with blue and red and yellow. So those are the primary color, you know. You cannot, Bald Fox, hi Jeb, hi Jeb. You cannot make or create red, blue, and yellow, you know, while mixing with other colors. They are the primary colors. They are the one that dictate the other colors. After that, you have the secondary color, which is green, orange, and purple, which are a mix, a blend of the two primary color. And after that, we have the tertiary color, a fucking long word, which is our, like, the color that you see between everything. So you have, like, you know, the yellow, the blues, and the red. And after that, you have orange, you have the teal, or the green. Oh, I have a happy Vertigo makes a muddy brown. Learned that when painting. Yes, you can make brown with that. And then, but after that, you get, like, the other colors, like the Thierry, they call. I'm so sorry, I'm bad with wording, but so you have, like, all the others that are between. I think I have, like, a where are they? I think I have, yeah, here. That's neutral, that's cool. I have, like, a lot of things here. I do not. But, like, so you have, like, red, you know, so you have those two that mix together. I'm gonna go the other side because that's green. But yeah, red and yellow will make orange. And then after that, you have the kind of orangey yellowish, and then the reddish orange. So those are, like, the terry. Like, it's like the if you put a little bit more red into the yellow, it's gonna be the terry color. White blue means calm, clam. Well, that's a problem they did, not me. I just took that picture because I think there's a lot. But yeah, you clam. I mean, a clam technically is can be from the ocean. I don't see the problem in that. I didn't read all the words. I just wanted the color wheels and all that stuff. So yeah, when you're mixing, like, a primary and a secondary color, this is how you get, like, the tertiary color. Those are just words. I just want you to know what a primary is, a secondary is, and a tertiary. So it's like 1, 2, 3, basically, you know. After that, you know, the real important things is the complementary colors, the analogous color. Also, I'm French. I'm so sorry if I butcher the words. And they call it the Chiadic color. I never, like, learned that, but it's basically one is the completely opposite of the wheel, you know. So if you take the wheel, it's going to be the complete opposite of it. is gonna be the complementary. So blue complement orange. You know, red is green. Yellow is, you know, yellow will be a purple. Yeah, sorry, a purple, and etc. etc. It's always gonna be like the complete, like the opposite of the wheel. So that's why, like, you see artists with a wheel. Magenta, yeah, purple. Yeah, magenta, yes. I'm not gonna use like the term, like, because I'm pretty sure like 90% of the people here, if I say them what is this color, they're gonna say, oh, that's purple. If I say then what's this color, they're gonna say, oh, that's pink. But yes, magenta would be also magenta is a primary color in the RGB world, not the RYB. There's a sheepy in the bottom left corner. Yes, the sheepy is in the classroom right now. That's why. That's a cyan, yellow, magenta. This is mainly used when you print. Like, it's printing quality. So that's why you see here cyan, magenta, you know, the yellow, and K is I think it's like a white or whatever. So those are like printing color. So when you put printers ink, you know, in your printing, you'll have like cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Yeah, black. See? Because B is for blue. Yeah. So that's why you see that. That's why I'm saying like this wheel here is for printing. It's for printer. Usually people will only refer to blue. You have the, like, if you just joined, by the way, the art class, in the chat there's like a link so you can zoom. You can actually like zoom in the pictures and everything. At the end of the class I'll give you like all the links and everything. But yeah. So what's important to know is that a complementary color in an art piece is really good. If you make a art which your character is primarily blue, I think it's here that I have it. Yes. So if you have like at the bottom here, if your piece is mainly in the warm tone and you put a blue background, you know, it's gonna pop in and everything. I don't think you posted the link in chat, Mizu. I did not post it in the stream chat. I posted it in the art class chat. So in the art class, if you join the art class in the Discord, you'll have it. Art class, yes. I can post it in on the chat if you like. You guys want the in here? I wasn't sure I wanted to post it here. I'll put it for 20 minutes. So grab it while you can. Follow along. You can put notes and everything so you can see and read everything I put. I have also notes on the side that are not linked to this, but it's just like the base so people can read it and learn. But yeah. Oh no, I didn't mean to kick Miko to the side. Oh. Miko's under my thighs. It's okay. We have the little gremlin looking on the side. Mainly, like my class, how dare you, Shay? Yeah, how dare you? The mainly is to learn the basic words, because I'm gonna, after that, talk more in detail about some of them. So, I call you UA. I say UA, but it's you. So, I'm so sorry if I say UA, that means the U, okay? So, the U, the saturation, and the values also take a very important aspect of colors, because if you put a whole page with a bajillion flashy colors, you will like saturate the whole piece, you know. A very like these color here are saturated, you know, they're all like maximum saturation. In a art piece that is a maximum saturation becomes muddy for the eyes. Like, unless you are very very good and a very like with practice and everything, you can use those very primary colors in a very saturated color and still pull out a very like good art piece. I'm not saying you can't, but I'm just saying like it's very hard on the eyes if you have very like boop. I'm pulling out something here. So like boop, boop. Let's pull that out. So as you can see, like if you have an art piece that is all these color, you know, you will lose the focus, you know. There's too many colors. So where do you look on this art piece, you know? And you can use like a little bit more like less saturation like this to make a background to blend the color together, and that's a-okay. But then again, there is no focal point on this one, you know. But then if you have one that is more saturated like the yellow, then like now you see more of the yellow becomes the star, you know. So in those theory, this is how the U, and the U mean just like it's just like the change of the color, by the way. The value and the saturation plays a big role. That's why if you go on any art like tablet or everything, you have the HSV, which is the U, which is like the color wheel, the saturation, and the value. So the U is the color itself, so red, blue, whatever. So when you change the U, it's just going to be going from red, blue, you know, you just change the color. And after that, my laundry is done. After that, you have the saturation, which is the intensity of the color. So you can have it very dull. It goes into the grays, by the way. That's how you lose saturation. It becomes gray. It goes into the monochrome of the grayscale. So if you take out some saturation on the color, as you can see on top, the color that used to be very vibrant become gray and muted. And then the same thing as in the value, it is a lightness or darkness. So if you have very big value, you're going to be in the, you know, the blacks and the darks. And if you reduce the value, it's going to go into the whites. I'm going to go on. I present art. Yes, some artists are. Art is interpretation. So like when you go to art school, most of the art school in fun fact, by the way, most of the art school, they teach you, I don't know if it changed because it's been like 10 years or like almost 15 years that I went to art school. But when I was in art school, the only thing they taught you was how to become this artist that get their painting posted in museum and stuff like that. That was the aim goal, is to have your art in museum. I'm pretty sure it changed now because digitals and stuff like that, but yeah. Hello, Volcano. Hello. And after that, like, it's to learn what is a warm color and what is a cool color, because those also have a big impact on art. Now, if I go like this, most of the time, arts, like the color, if you are in like a sunny day, it's gonna be like warm tone, you know? You're gonna have like yellow and like orange and bright color, and all of those like put in perspective of like you're in the sun, so the colors are bright. There's like more a little bit more whitish in it because they're palish because of the sun and all of the beauty of the light. And then when you're in the dark, you know, like it's gonna be like a little bit more blue, because like it wasn't there a saying like in the dark all cats are gray or whatever, because when you lose like basically light, you don't see colors anymore. You need the light to see colors. So if you don't have lights, like you're more into a dark art, like you're drawing someone in their bedroom, okay, watching the moon. The whole bedroom will most likely be, that's a French expression, yes, yes. La nuit tous les chats sont gris. Yeah, that's the saying. So like everything like lose their like saturation because you don't have lights. And so all the tones will go also more into the bluish purple. Because for some reason, this is like the representation of like night is, you know, blue. Like dark blue is the night. So all the color. But technically you lose color when it's dark because there's no more light. So if, example, someone was sitting at the window and looking at the moon will be reflecting light, will be reflecting a blue light. So the character would have a bluish light tone. So you would see like the color like facing the light, but everything in the background will be like dull, you know, there will be no color. Yellow and orange is the color that reacts to the most. That's why a lot of streetlights are that color. It is also because orange is the least aggressive color to look at night. So it helps like see more. So that's why like the lamp outside are more into the yellow and orange tone, is to make it less aggressive with the contrast of the night, you know. Hello, Pachin. Hello. So yeah, there's like a lot of nuance on art, obviously, because like technically you can make a art like this, you know. You can make beautiful art with beautiful bright color and make like incredible like super bright. So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying, explaining how light works and also how the colors are affected in art. Also, that sodium light don't consume a lot of power. That is another talk for fucks going into like scientists. If you have a cold environment, but we also have warm light, for example, from sun or street light, how do we mix warm and colder tone well together? So a really well-known thing is that on the color wheel, if you put the color on paper, which I can show you after, I don't have an example of that, but if when you're working on a commission, okay, you can actually make a grayscale like piece to see how the colors react to the light. So this is this wheel, by the way. So you see the RGB light here. This is the wheel, but in grayscale. As you can see, the yellow is the brightest, right? Even if you take all saturation, the yellow will be the brightest. Yellows are always the brightest. So the yellows will always be facing light. You cannot have a shadow with yellow. This is, unless you make like a special art piece or something, but it is almost impossible to create shadows using yellows, because it's so bright that your brain will be confused about, well, that's not a shadow. This is obviously a shadow, you know? All this here is shadow. This is darker. So the blues, you know, those blues are the shadows, you know? So when you're gonna make a piece that is in a cold environment, but you still have like warm lights and all that stuff, whatever the light touch will be more in the yellows and the orange and the brighter tone, using even the blues here. You see how the blues is still light compared to the other blues? So you can use those beautiful like bright color here to convey the warm light. I would say like more use orange and yellows for the warm light, obviously, but using like the rest of the piece more into those blues to, like, you know, I guess it's also relative. Shadow will be more blues than non-shadows. Yeah. Because the color, your eyes will automatically put this indigo into shadows, because it's the darkest. You use like usually a tone like that, but you can use, hello Mad Dog, you can use grays, like, you know, grays. But wow, thank you for the love. But using gray tone as a shadow usually makes your piece muddy. It's never recommended to go like, if I take the color wheel like this one, like if I use these on top here, and you look at the saturation, because your wheel, I use a square for mine. I don't know if I can just yeah. Like, I'll take a screenshot of my wheel here. Boop. Let me hear you. So for me, this is what I use for my wheel. I will never go, if I do shadows, I will never go like lower than, I will always stay in here for my shadows. You know? Just like, oh, sorry. I need to re-click here. There you go. Just, I will always stay like here. You know? Never too much in the grays and too much in the blacks, because it creates mud. It makes your art piece looks muddy. Like, almost no. Yeah, I changed it. Yes, you'll see it. Yeah. So, like, using gray tones too much creates very muddy. That's why it's better to use, like, more of a bluish tone. So, yeah. When you're into a warm light, use those bright colors to really pop the color, and when you're in the shadows and the rest of the piece can be more into the blues, which is basically cool and warm. You know, you want to stay in the warm and the cool, and it's like, if I go down here, which is like the other thing that I'm gonna get to in a second, I assume that applies to shading as well. Now, shading, if you use the multiply, it's different. If you use the multiply, I use these colors for multiply. I never touched this for the multiply. But that's like if you know your program and everything. But the there's like different techniques to paint. There's different, like, as long as you know, like, the wheels, the hue, the tint, the tone, and all that stuff, you know. I mean, using grayscale for shading. I do not use grays. I use the grayscale. Like, I put my screen in gray, because there's a way to, like, see your I think on Photoshop it's like there's actually a keybind to put your whole page in grayscale to see. I use a layer to see my grayscale, to see if the eyes meant, but yeah, I don't use grays. I use, like, if you look at the saturation bar, I go like the maximum, like, I'll go in the grays for shading is like this. I never pass that. Like, I'll stick in the color. I want colors to it, but you can go a little bit on the gray. It's just, I try to keep it like very, I don't go too saturated, because it becomes like, for me, that's just my art style though, but you can do it. If you can work on the tones and you like it, because, like, if you look at these balls, look at those balls, guys. The balls here, you know, they use super bright and saturated color to do shading. This one you see it less, but you still see it. There's still like a little bit of, they're using a little blues here to like shade and everything. And then it's a darker green to go to a lighter, The point of shading is to use where the light is like touching the highest points, you know, of the curve. You put the lightest color there, which is yellow usually. And then for the shading, you want to go into the darker color, which is, you know, closer to this color of the wheel. So but you can use like super bright colors to make shading. It just depends on how you do it. I personally do not like using heavy saturated color because this is dopamine intense and your eyes get so confused and so lost that you're like, you don't know what you look at. So I don't like that. I don't like that. But that's just me, you know. The other thing like that I want to show you is learning how to use which color to use. If you make an art piece and you use the rainbow color, I'm not talking about making like a flag, you know, that's different, you know, but like if you're making like a character, example, you're making a character for yourself and you decide that the whole rainbow should be on the character, unless you learn how to harmonize the unless you learn how to harmonize every color correctly by using like values and saturation to, you know, change the tone and everything. If you make a fucking rainbow color character, your rainbow character actually becomes like the least interesting character because there's too much going on. This is why like they call like the monochromatic, you know, the complementary, then analogous, and the tetradic, and the triad and square. Those are all like theories that have been proven and used by master arts to create really cool art piece or art in general. The complementary color are usually used to like use, you actually I don't know if I can call it, but like if I grab, actually like I can't make it bigger, but Fox is a good example of like a complementary color that like pops out and all that stuff. Like if you ever wonder why whenever I do a character and I take like I will take a character, an example, they have a, so before my character, by the way, I had orange eyes, by the way. I swapped that, but because my fur is too orange, so it was getting lost. So because my fur is like a little taint of like a little saturated, a little bit more saturated, but like the brown that you see is more into the orange. So I put green eyes, so my eyes pops out. And purple is actually a, you can see here actually on this part. So in the purples, the yellows, orangish tone match well with the green. So my eyes are green. My fur is the yellow orange tan color and my hair is purple. So that's why like the blend of the color match really well. Fox at the bottom there, he is like red, but he has a very bright blue in his color, and then the rest of this fur is like a very muted like yellow-ish, like around orange yellow-ish. So he has a triangle basically. A triangle of color is like the most effective way of making a character. You take one popping color and then you have like another one that is like another complementary of a color and then one massive color. So I'm mainly like, you know, beige and orange, warm. But for art piece, monochromatic usually only use one color. So like this one has a gradient of one color. You have the lightest of this color on the wheel to the darkest of this color. And then you can make an art piece and actually look fucking good, you know? Because that's just a style. That's styles. You know, I saw I think it's what's his name? He's a furry. Let me go on. You're gonna hear tippy tappy maybe. Like it's He made the whiskey. He made the whiskey's model. I want to know your artist, please. Thank you. I need your artist, please, Whiskey. So one of the artists that is also good with color is the one that made I'm just gonna use Andre. That's the name. Let me grab one of Andre's safe for work art for a second. Yeah, that's good. So I'm gonna give the link in the chat. This is Andre. But oh, this file, oh, it's too big. Well, fuck me. Boop. Boop. There he is. So Andre use complementary colors for his art piece, as you can see, like pink and just a green and red goes together. It's just pink is a saturation. Andre Moment, yeah. So you have Andre, which is a complementary color, so you can make excellent piece if you learn how to use a complementary. You can, when I say, by the way, to use like the like green, I don't say use the most saturated green. You can go into, you can unsaturate, change the value of your color. So when you do like complementary, you choose a color like green, like this one, okay? You don't touch the hue anymore, and then you move the value to desaturate, because the green here is a little bit more like desaturated, and the pink is super saturated. Then the focus is right here on the eyes and on the hair, you know. He is a master of the color. He's so good to play with color. This guy shade and use color so bright. I have a lot of trouble playing with hue and saturation. That's because well, why the hue? Hue is just like the color. Saturation, though, I understand. So I'm gonna put this guy right there for a second. Split complementary. I think they just mean that it's it's a different word for complementary, honestly. But I think they use like the color adjacent to one main and one outside. I also use a different shade of green behind the glass. Cool. That's not a different green. That is this is just more. It has more saturation. Is it saturation? Sorry. He has more value. That's it. There's more value, so it's a little bit more white, but it's the same green. Like if I grab my pick color thing here, and I go into pick the other green, it's the same color wheel. It's just that he went more into the values. Same green. It's not, it's just, it's the same green, just different on the value side. Same UA, different color, I guess. Yeah, so it's the same UA, just different value. The value change on the he made it more dark and more light, but it's the same gray. He actually he barely touched the saturation also, from what I can see from the thing. But yes, like this art piece is the best. Like, he is really good at color to still create shading and everything with this color. So he's pretty good. He's pretty good at that. But yeah, this guy paint and like even his shading sometimes are not like, that's advanced. That's too advanced even for me. I can't do that yet. I'm not good like that yet. I am a person that usually go around the triadic like version at the bottom here. That's more like my style, because I will always use if the character is mainly warm, the background will be cool. If the character is mainly cool, the background will be, warm. If the character has an outfit and everything, I try to make the outfit blend with the character, but like I like to make the eyes pops out, make the eyes the focal point, or the boobs. Depends what the art is, But yeah, so those are like all styles that you can test. Like if you want to make an art piece that is more like one color with just a little bit of the other color adjacent, you can. These are all like proved style of art that you can mix color together. So you can look at all this, you grab the wheels and you say, I want to try the triad. And the color of my main color of my character will be blue. This blue. Exactly. Well, that means if I go in a triangle, this orange here and this green here will be the 3 colors that I will use. And then from there, you can like play with the saturation, the value, and make it like, choose which one you want to enphase the most. So if you want to use the green as the main part of the art because you love the color green, use the orange to make certain element pop out, and vice versa. Another part I wanted to talk about. Let me see. Sorry, I have like another page. There's a website that you can choose. Is this one? Yes. So this is a website. I'll post it here and here. This is a website that, if for example you want to draw but you do not know like what color to use, this website creates to you an Harmonic already pre-made color palette, which is basically what you see on these things here. You see on the side here. So if you swap and you're like, oh, I like that color, that color palette, you grab that color palette and then you go for it, So if you mix, like if you have trouble putting together that works together, you can just go on that webpage and space will make you like go circle through, and the one that talks to you, You don't technically need to know about the triad, the tetradic, the analogous, the complementary, and everything. It's more like if you are already creating a character or something that for you talks to you, like that color here, this one exactly. You love it so much. You want to make it complementary. Well, blue eyes with blue spots. Add a little bit more of the darker orange to make the character pop out will be beautiful, And then you're like, but actually, like, I prefer this cool tone. Well, hey, I can put this color in there, and then it's gonna be like fucking fantastic, You can go up to like a tetradic, like this is basically a like square and everything. So use those tools. You don't need to learn by heart. It's gonna eventually get into your brain, and like you're gonna, without thinking, use that, and that's when it's magical. You get the magic. But yes, my best recommendation as an artist is to always know the prime color on your art piece. If you're like, if I go through and I stop on well, that's a shit palette. Okay. If I take that palette, okay. This color palette. Come here, you. If I grab like a color, you're like, oh, you know, for me today, this orange is the color that speaks to me the most. I want to make a character this color. Then I would use this color to help, like this color, be the main, you know, so it's muted a little bit. It's not too offensive, the eyes, and this color will not grab the attention of this one. This one will. The yellow is too bright, but the orange and this, like the pale light yellow they call it, will go really well together on a to complement each other and not like fight each other, because this is a little bit more muted, you know, there's less saturation, so the color spins me around and baby around. And this here, I would use it for the really big pop of color. So if, example, I put it on a furry character, the nose could be this color, the eyes could be these colors together, and then I would put the I think I would use the yellow also in the eyes to make it really like pop and everything, and mute the rest of the body of that. You know, you can play with it. I would need to play with it. But yeah, so it's all about like knowing the first color, the color that is only like, if I draw myself, my character is a more warm tone. She is a bit warmer, so usually everything surrounding her will be more in the cool tone to make her pop in an art piece. In using color to pop. I know that like I have retexture. I actually I did some research for the 3D aspect of color, because it's a little different with art. Because I'm an artist, I am not like a retexture in art, and retexture is a little different because 3D already has the basically the shading done, you know, the form. You don't need to fight the art to make your shading, you know. So I did some research, and where is it? There it is. So like I did some research like about the complementary and the analogous and triad and monochromatic and stuff like that. And usually for artists, the complementary colors are usually used in more of a like using for high contrast texture. So like if you put like the blue and the yellow, the orange, blue and orange will be used as like the high contrast, you know, like the very big glows and stuff like that. And the more natural material will be used for like muted, like if you want to make like woody and like wood material, nature material, that's more like when the people use analogous, which is the same like trio of color here. True, but a lot of shader in 3D program, and it's sometimes hot mess, making it realistic to the light. Yes, that's why I will post like I'll copy paste what I found for 3D retro at the end. Like at the end, like the meta note that I gave you guys, I'll add like all the theory that I got. So I found like some 3D aspects that are good for you, you know. So there's that. Because like I learned that HSV and HSL is for the 3D Blender Substance Painter. So you guys actually use more of these than the rest of this thing. So I didn't know that. I don't know 3D retexture at all. So like I had to look for a lot of things. So I found like some interesting things for those, you know. So yeah. I'll put those, especially for the 3D and everything. It's gonna be like a theory to read because I do not know and I can't talk about experience. But yeah, but usually, yeah, the people they use like the neutral to like make more of the more realistic stuff, because not a lot of things in the real life of characters are bright, but then we're furry, so there's also that, you know. But fur is less, like, there's rarely very bright, like, I think like whenever I see like some people retexture and they put like a character that is like uh they grab the red and they put like the saturation to the max, I think it becomes like too bright. It like actually hurts the eyes, example, because it's too, I would desaturate just a little bit so it's a little bit more pleasing to the eye, so you're not a glow stick, you know, because no one wants a glow stick. I think that's the thing with 3D is like using a saturation to the max also like can be visually like aggressive, because in the 3D like you are close to the color, you know. So I would mute a little bit. I would play more like in the center of the color wheel more than anything, but that is just like from my visual experience. I can't say for real, you know. So yeah, there's that. So if, example, we grab a art, let's grab an art piece. I feel like a lot of Sona are oversaturated in terms of color. Yes, that is because they want to be the most visible usually. Funny enough, it's like the people that have like the most tame color scheme can pop out more. Yeah, they want to pop. Yeah, they want to pop. And I get it, but you need neutrals. It's never a good idea to go into an art piece and just use fucking bright color. Even like in this one here. You see this one here? There's like a lot of bright color, right? Like there's bright greens, bright purple, but there is more muted, you know? Muted blues, muted like background, the skin is a little bit muted and less saturated, you know, more, there's more values. There's like levels, you know. And it's also a good point to note here. I feel this one here is very, very like blurry. You don't really know what's happening from far, you know. This one you understand what's happening. This one you understand. Even this one you understand what's happening, you know, because this is like just the same colors all together. But like this one, it's a little lost in this one. This one I don't think it's a good example of triadic. I think this one missed a spot, but that's just me. I feel like it's a little you needed to have different things. But yes, it's really important to have a balance in the color that you're using. Using only saturated things like this, super saturated, super desaturated, you know, then it just becomes like a whole mess, you know. But you have a little sparkle. I don't think this is a good example, but if you use a different variant of saturation, example, I like in this character the main things you see is the scarf, the Pac-Man on the on there, the little pinky thing here, and then you zoom on the face, and then on the hand, and you know there's like a good harmony of colors because you have less saturation, super saturated, so these pop out. Less saturation, more saturated, so the air pop out, you know. So playing with a color that will be more saturated beside colors that are less saturated, the saturated color will pop out more. Same as if you use yellow beside dark blue, the yellow will pop out more because on the grayscale, you know, these are what you see the most. Hey, Jack. So it's really important to know how to play with values, like your saturation and it's really important. Like, get your art going and go into grayscale. That's my best. Like, if you feel like you're looking at your art and you're like, I feel like I'm losing my character, then put that into grayscale and look at the background. Look and see if you're losing your character for real, for real. Because, like, this one's almost like a grayscale, right? Like, it's almost grayscale. It's just like a pop of color here. But the background is obviously darker, so the character pops out more. But also, he used lighter color, so his values are higher for the blues to, like, really separate each color from the background. Making sure, you know. But, like, where it's dark, he used, like, big line work to make, like, you know, big dark line work to make, like, okay, this is a shadow, you know. So, and because he separates here with a big black line stuff, his face pops out more, you know, etc, etc, using like the dark and the light to make something pop out more. So if you want to be closer to the camera, you know, your colors will be brighter than further. This is also like a thing that you see in perspective. If you take a, like, if you're sitting down right now, okay, and you're looking at outside your window, like far, I'm talking far, but the furthest you look, the less like values and less saturation things are. So in the furthest, like the mountains and whatnot, the furthest mountain will be more whitish, grayish, and the one like more front will be more popping color, more, you know, bright. This is like perspective, you know. So when you go into the color theory, if you want your character to pop out more, this is not a good example because he used monochromatic, but if you want your character to be like more you know, visible, it will be like high, a little bit more. The value and the saturation will be not the value, sorry, the saturation will be higher, so because the colors are more there, while the background will be more desaturated because you want, you know, your character to be the main focus. Trying to find another art piece that would be very good. But he used a lot of monochromatic things, so. Oh, we have actually a good. Sorry, Andre, I'm using you as a school teacher, but yeah. I can probably find an art for mine. Let me find an art for me. I am not the greatest with art, but with the, I feel like I'm okay. You know, I actually learned a lot by doing that class. So yeah. Let me go in my art media. Oh, Jack, please stop. Oh, that's porn. Well, I can't do that. Actually, we can use Ezra. Oh, this file's too big. Fuck. We can use Ezra's art that I did. Boop. Come here, Ezra. You have been selected. So. Hi, teacher. Hello, Dylan. So Ezra's color are very, very bright, right? Like like Ezra is white, and Ezra has very blue, purplish color. So super, super, you know, cool tone. Okay. And although like in the background, like I have the sky, and I have like the sky is blue, right? But I put a little bit of more of a warmer tone on the blue. just so the purple, the bluish purple is completely different. And that's why it's different. I could have done a better job. Like personally, I look at it, I should have made a sunset instead to make the sky more giving for Azra, you know? That's like after looking at Azra's art. And the back, like the I'm imagining an art teacher looking through her profile and saying, to her, say, "Oh, that's porn. I can't show that." Yeah, yeah, I can't do that here. But you can see that because at the bottom here, it's more the grayish tone, you know, not as vibrant as the face, because the face is supposed to be closer to the camera than all the things in the back. You know, the tail, I should have like muted the tail more, even more. Like I think I could have done better. Wow. I should have like focused more this to be the center of focus and the rest be muted. Which, you know, it's a learning curve. I should have muted more the art surrounding and everything. You can blur. That's also create an effect.
Water, you dehydrated.
Wow. Thank you so much for the hydration. Thank you. Jack decided to lay down on my hand. But, like, you have the bluish and everything. See, I look at my art and even I am like, oh, I could have done better. Because I'm learning. I am still learning a lot about art myself. So, yeah. I'm looking through my list of art. I'm trying to find one that is one safe for work, and two, yeah. I mean, that's normal. Artists have their own worst yeah. But I think I am definitely very in need of I'm not the best at putting like colors together. From what I am good at creating character, making a character that is like that works well. I am super good at this. But making like backgrounds and character creation, I am having a lot of trouble. You know. So if I take Chachan, I made Chachan. And Chachan, I remember that this art, my arm was pretty hurt, but I use a bluish shading for Chachan, because Chachan's a plush, funny enough. So, like, taking consideration the plush aspect. And she has, like, well, you can see the fit fur bits and everything. Hi, Jack, you're in the way. But mainly the character is into the blue tone. So that's why my background is more into the red, the warmer side. So Chachan pops out. Boop, boop. Bye, Chachan. So yeah. I will put all the after stream and everything, all of these beautiful things. You can read it. I found, you know, all the stuff like complimentary that are directed in front and everything, and what you can use. I have other like do this, don't do that either, you know, type of deal. You okay, Jack? Yeah. Okay. So I have like multiple like little thing. I'll link more the page that I found and everything. I don't think I have more to say about color theory. This is basically the knowledge I have using the colors to pop out when you're using, you know, if you have any question, please say it. But it's basically to use the hue and the saturation and the value to make your character pops more, using the background as a way to convey your art to be better If you're making a character, choose the main color that you want to do and use the opposite, like if you decide to use well, not that, the other one. If you decide to use like the monochromatic or sorry Jack, can you, the complementary or square or whatever you decide to do in this, like this form, is using the, you know, the opposite color, like one of these color to pop out, you know, to give like visual. Now I'm not gonna talk about like art, like how to make your like composition and everything better. I'm mainly talking about the color today, like learning about like what is a saturation, a value, and who, and a U. I always say UA is. How do you say U in the French? I think that's what it is. So I'm gonna leave the links in here. I also have it's gonna be in the art class, but all the detail I got on like the art theory and everything, I looked through Clip Studio. I had some good guide for arting. Wow. There's like they show a step by step on that webpage that I put in the art class section. They do a good step by step to show like, well, if you have a tree and you put like lighter plants this color, you know, they pop more. But then you can put the background this color. But then if you want to zhuzh it up, you know, well, the main one can become red. And you know, they show you step by step of like stuff you can do. Come on. Specifically saying I don't use colors in equal amount. That's a good point. You know, choose the, like I said, choose one color that is your primary use in the art and use the other one as accent. Spinning. Oh no. Oh no, it's actually ton et teinte. Oh yeah. Ton, nuance. Ton. Yeah, I think it's ton et teinte. Right? Ton being like the color. Yeah. So you can read a little bit more on that. Does anyone have a question about the art class per se? I'm gonna drop the link on the whole big link thing here. Boop. This is the Clip Studio creating color scheme and everything. Online, there's multiple ways to, if you have a question, you can find it. There's so many ways to learn art. The next, the color theory for 3D aspect, I'll make a whole page just for that section. Hello, Matthew Murphy. I'm so sorry. I'm giving a class right now, but I found like wording different for 3D. I cannot put the 3D, but you know, why is the color of your character often cyan? It's because of men. They usually use cyan for male, so male character goes there, and pink will be like females, and purple will be herms or both are okay. That's why. Usually like that. Otherwise, it's just artist, but that's usually how I go. If it's cyan, because it's for men. Because in this world, blues are associated to men, pinks are associated to female, and purple are transgender, both sex mixed together, because blue and pink makes purple. That's why. That being said, after this beautiful little art class that is done, thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys learned something. If you have any question during my stream, you can ask. I will answer, and this time I'll have hands-on the the paper and everything. I'll copy at the end of the stream, by the way, for the 3D. Like, because there's a lot of things to put. I'll make a section just for the 3D and copy paste, like, everything I found. So I do not know, like, personally, I don't know what is physical base rendering. I don't know what that is, so those are not terms I know. I am sorry. The next theory will actually be anatomy. So we're gonna find so many resource, and hopefully the next time my hands are gonna, so this one I'm like really sad because my arm actually hurts today. It's very in discomfort. I cannot draw. And so I couldn't like draw. That's why I went like full fucking theory and found pictures. I couldn't draw. So I couldn't like show you exactly what happens when you mix colors and everything. The color harmony part is the most interesting. I was a bit lost on which harmony to choose. The best, like, look, like, honestly, the best way to know which harmony to use is to use those here. I always do a triad. It's the easiest one. So, and you show it with that. So yes, the anatomy will be drawn like in 3 weeks. I should be fine with my arm. So, I'll be sketching and showing you guys how to do it. It's gonna be a little bit more like me drawing. So the color theory, sadly, I had to. But yes, when you have to pick color, look at those color combination. They're everywhere online. If you write color combination, you'll find it. Use the website I provided for like just finding like a pattern, you know. But the easiest one is the triad, using values and saturation to blend the color character. Make yourself, like, before even starting to draw, choose a color, put it together on the page, and look at them. Look at them and tell yourself, do I like that? Also, know that neutrals, which is black, gray, white, and there's also the beige. So brown, beige, like the color, basically my fur color. And all these colors are considered neutral. They're not like, because brown is a mix of all the colors together, and so if you put values into this, it becomes like beige. So it is considered a neutral color, same as black and white. Remember that browns, for example, aren't on the color wheel. That's because it's a mix of everything, and they're considered neutral. Yes, but usually you can find brown in the like orange. Yeah, orange with a little bit of black. You know, usually become brown also. So yeah. Since brown is not on the wheel, consider it like a orange. You need to be able to discern. If you have problem with color, I think a good thing that you should do is go on that website, on the colors.org that I gave you guys. Go on that website and, you know, spam and look at those color and say, so this color is blue with a tint, like a little bit of green in it, you know. And then, you know, check all of these, tell yourself this color, this is what this color is. It has a little bit of green in it, or this color has a little bit of red in it. And then you can like grab that swatch of color, go into your program, and actually look on the wheel where it's situated. Is it pure orange? Is it pure blue? Or was I right that there was more green in it, you know? To work your brain into learning colors. Because for me, if I look at a color, I can tell you the undertone of the color. Like my pants has red undertone. You know, my hair has blue undertone. My shirt, my green shirt is like a pure green. There's almost like maybe a tint of yellow in it. Not that much. Like it's pretty spot on, you know. But that's because I know, you know, like the same way as like Andre's art, this green is very blue. And this pink is very, 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 very pink. I'm pretty sure it's pure magenta, yeah. So it's pure, like there's a little bit of blue in there, and there's a little bit of this art is very like cool. It's a very cool art. I use that website a little bit. Yeah, browns are orangish, reddish area. It's orange, yeah. But yeah, if you use like if you see like colors, you need to work your brain to learning the undertone to know like, so this piece is more, you know, cool. So if I put like orange or yellow in it, it's just gonna fight it, everything, which is not really good for this one though, because it's literally like this and this. So there's like no other color that works with it. So yeah, it's green and red. So yeah, I hope that was useful. Now we're gonna go into the part of me drawing for free, guys. The art class is done. I will send you all back to school. Okay, go play in the récréation. What do you call that? Go out. Shoo shoo.